welcome to this week's episode of Chasing the Whimsy. I'm your host, Ben, and this week's co-host is...
Megan.
Yes, we are... Where are we at, Megan?
We are... Am I allowed to say it?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Yeah, I think we've said it a couple times.
Yeah, we're at TusCon in Tucson, Arizona.
This would be the second official, routine episode.
Yeah, we did TusCon last year at the con. That was at a different hotel, but when Robert Kurtzman was on with us. Now our co-host is the helicopter.
Right. We've been setting up, and we have a fountain that I thought we were able to get out of, but the helicopter I could not get rid of.
It adds flavor to the recording, I think.
We're currently recording in the courtyard of the hotel. They got two main courtyards with two fountains. Our rooms may or may not be looking right at said fountain. But kind of like the center of TusCon.
Yeah, we really are.
We got art and dealer room behind us. We have all the meeting spaces up and to the left a little bit. And then you have all those rooms with all the panel rooms.
Yep. One location.
Right. We did get a small or kind of a late start, so we don't have a lot of day one conversation.
This is Ben subtly saying that we come late, I think.
No, but to be fair, we didn't record last night. We wanted to kind of get the lay of the land, so we took us on an adventure.
Yes, she did. She's actually really good at figuring out areas and mapping them out, because she didn't need us at all.
No.
At all. She was giving her own tour.
What's funny is I gave her the one tour, and it's the same one that she gave you and Kelly, and the same one she does almost every time now.
Yeah, if you ever wonder about the glory of the ice machine, you better take this tour.
Right?
It's great.
I did live stream the Sophie's tour. I wanted her to do it, but I don't know if she can hold the phone and walk. And then not drop it and then still talk and not get distracted and then show everybody's face.
The magic of kids recording is that they're gonna get distracted and suddenly start talking about how this girl in her class dressed up as Cinderella for Halloween.
I'd take
blah blah
blah. You know what? We're gonna do it. We're gonna try live stream with her a little bit today. All right. First impressions of this year's TusCon51.
It's definitely bigger than last year. It seems bigger to me.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more people here. Everyone looks so cool in their costumes. A
lot more cosplay.
We're not in costume. You guys can't see us, but we're not in costume right now.
Right.
But everyone looks great. There's a lot of interesting panels. I like that there's a lot of stuff about video games, writing, horror.
What panel did we go to today? And what was so cool about this guy?
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was like, yes. But no, we went to one about, I guess it was supposed to be about Fallout. How the show revived the game. But we really ended up talking about all kinds of video games and stuff like that. And the presenter was over Skype because he's in the hospital. And he died twice, but he still made it to TusCon.
Kind of died?
Excuse. Where are you guys if you're not at TusCon right now?
So, when you say he died, did he really die?
Yeah, he died twice. Heart attack died.
Let's watch to the point where it was he flatlined and then they brought him back.
Yeah, no, official death. But he's, oh my God, he was so interesting and so knowledgeable.
Yes.
And he was really funny, and the panel went really well. I don't know. It was so interesting seeing a lot of people who know about something that you know about, because I work in an industry where a lot of people don't give an F about that kind of stuff.
Right.
And so I don't really talk to them about video games. I wouldn't be like, hey, you know how Fallout revived a game that's been gone for 12 years or whatever?
It's not water cooler talk?
No, there's a lot of really old people who are just I don't know, very jocks in high school sensibilities, but they're very nice. Yeah. Just not interested in video games.
No, this is, so I think I noticed that there was a Comic Con here in Tucson that recently passed. And then this one is the Sci-Fi Con.
Yeah, this one's more on science fiction, horror, fantasy, and video games.
Steampunk.
A lot of topics about diversity and inclusion.
There is definitely a theme this year, it seems, compared to last year, where like the real promotion of like enjoy everybody, like everybody, be nice to everybody.
Which is great.
Yeah. Like it stands to reason like it should be normal, but they went a little bit to the point where they're like reinforcing it and kind of just celebrating, just enjoy everybody's differentness.
And I like that because, I mean, obviously you hear this from being a kid. But
yeah.
People have different perspectives, and that's what makes everything great. But it really is. And if you've seen like maybe one too many, like Netflix or Amazon show, where you're like, oh, another one like this, you're probably watching something that's a product of copying one person's point of view.
Yeah. But everybody's been very friendly.
Oh yeah, great costumes and friendly, and I don't know, they just seem more organic and interesting than most people I see.
Yes. And they're all just wandering around. They're hanging out in the courtyard. The irony of it right now was, as I was setting up, there was 30 people out here, and this.
They're all afraid of Ben. I think he's got that outsider glare on him.
Right. Well, I guess. The hotel. What do you think about the hotel?
Okay, hotel, obviously awesome. It's like very beautiful. The fountains are beautiful.
It's old. It's a 50-year-old hotel. Clearly, you could tell that Hilton DoubleTree put some money into the renovations because you can see it in the lobby. You can see it in the room. It's kept really nice.
Well, yeah, it is, and it's. I don't know, it has character, which is something I would say that when you go into a very like fine-tuned hotel,
brand new,
you're missing it. And there's nothing in this hotel that I feel like I don't have that I would want.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got like suites, so you got a little sitting area in its own room, and then a bedroom. It's nice.
Yeah. All the rooms have shutters and blinds on them.
Yep, that was in the last hotel too. They all had like windowed windows and then windowed doors, but then they had like a blind over it last time. So maybe it's just like.
But this one,
down here?
Yeah, but this I guess is nice because all of them open up into the courtyard. Oh, when we first got here, what was going on when we got here last night?
Oh, there was like music playing.
Yeah, they were doing an acoustic. We got the thing here. It was an acoustic.
There was like a guy playing a guitar here like 5 seconds ago. He sounded really great.
Yeah, he saw me. He's like, that guy. The guy said podcast and talk. He's like, I'm out of here. What was it? Last night, yeah, an acoustic jam. Flick Under the Stars, which I think is the musical special guest this year.
Correct.
And they were out there. I mean, that thing started at like 7, and we didn't get settled in and wandered around up through like 10, 11.
Yeah, it was a great way to wander around the hotel. The music was nice, the vibe was nice.
Yeah, wasn't off-putting. I don't know lyrically what was going on, but I still enjoyed it. What did we do for lunch?
Oh, we got lost downtown trying to park. I'm not going to say who was bad at parallel parking or backwards parking. It was not me, guys. I would say put away the female stereotypes, but you weren't too far off. No, but it was interesting. We went to what was it called, like Lori's or something? Lindy's. Like an award, like a semi, like it's like a staple of Tucson for burgers. They have a bunch of awards for like best burgers. Very interesting burgers. What kind of burger did you have then? Okay, mine was called the McLindy. It was a sausage-filled grilled cheese, egg, meat patty, and then the bottom bun was another sausage-filled grilled cheese. And it was actually pretty delicious. French toast. And he forgot to mention that there was syrup, I think. There was syrup. I was like,
I didn't know how to put the syrup in it or on it.
Well, he has a very strange way of eating. He doesn't like to get his hands dirty. So he was eating with like a fork and a knife.
Yeah, a fork and knife the burger.
Like the rest of us would probably just dip it.
Like it was like a way better version of the Denny's Grand Slamwich.
I didn't even think about that. They're like the same thing.
They are, but my instead of the French toast, my French toast was stuffed with fucking sausage.
Exactly. So better, honestly.
Kelly brought up a good point. It was basically like it's the burger you order when you don't want to order a triple.
Sneaky triple.
What did you buy? Let's go to the art room and the dealer room. Any good art you've seen?
I saw a lot of good art. A lot of it's super interesting, and I want it so badly, but I don't really have that kind of scratch.
I don't either, but I went in and I bought it.
Yeah. This one's out here hoarding it like a goblin.
Oh my god!
Literally like a goblin.
Well, there's a couple of Christmas presents in there. So I just got to take the sticker off, and then I'll be like, these are exclusive, and now they're like they've doubled in price.
Doubled in value.
So now I hit my limit with like whatever. But yeah, I did get some stuff. I might have put a bid in on 2 other pieces for tomorrow, but nothing crazy. Like I didn't spend a grip of money, but they were definitely interesting. I did see one from Jill Bachman that I saw last year that I liked, and it was here again.
It was waiting for you.
It was. The Jill Bachman ones are all numbered, so I don't think it's the exact same one, but it's like 100 of 200.
And then you almost didn't buy it.
I almost didn't because I wanted to treat one too. I didn't know which one to do.
Yeah, he followed his heart in the end, guys.
All right, the dealer side, the dealer room. So that's where we got authors, books, and trinkets. What did you buy today?
I didn't buy anything, I don't think.
Because what is your game plan?
Okay, so what I do is basically I will look at everything very intensely, and then when I come back tomorrow, what I remember seeing is what I actually wanted to buy.
So I did the same thing just a year apart.
Yeah, I'm not going to go that dramatically. I really like those earrings.
So are you right now on the spot? Do you have a top 3 that you're like, I'm probably going to get these 3 things?
Yes. Because I don't remember her name, but she's probably in my receipt history.
Right.
Because I bought 3 things from her last year, and I saw some stuff that I liked again, and I was like, here we go again. But no, I saw a lot of good earrings. Kelly was really interested in some boxes by her as well.
Okay, yeah.
So funny because we were like, I was telling her, I was like, yeah, I saw these earrings by somebody from like that I had seen last year at TusCon as well. And I really want you to look at the earrings and tell me, should I buy them? Should I buy them? Basically just like her rubber stamping. Yes,
right.
Just spend the money. And she was like, well, I saw some really good boxes and like kind of cool trinkets that I really wanted to show you. So maybe we can go down there together. We're talking about the same person. We're literally talking about the same person. So she's very talented. Obviously, we're both drawn to it. But there's a couple other booths that I saw stuff that I really liked, and Sophie already got some stuff.
Yeah.
The flower crown.
From the same ladies that did the wings last year.
The wings and I think her wand that she got last year. Yeah.
Is that the one in the car?
Is it in the car?
There's two wands in the car. This morning, I got up while you guys were sleeping in and getting ready. So gentleman comes out and he's like, "You too," and I'm like, "What?" Gave her a fucking magic wand, and it had
that was so sweet.
Had the blue light in it, like in the wood, like it looked really cool.
Yeah, I think that one's in the room. No, the one from last year, I didn't realize it was in the car.
It might be in the car. I'll look at it tonight so we can go in there.
She loves her wands. I play video games a lot, and Sophie likes to watch, and she needs to have some sort of like wand, sword, or other sort of weapon,
right?
So she can help me fight the bad guys. Always works.
So this is our second year at TusCon. I did talk to Wendy, who helps organize this thing. Real supportive of us, just like walking around, because we tried to. I asked her. We went way late start on this. That's my bad, because the email fell through the cracks, and then my email fell through her cracks, and we're like, oops. But yeah, she's real supportive. She's like, record, talk to everybody, podcast, do whatever you kind of want. Obviously a few rules with regards to like the art show and some video stuff, but
yeah, just respect everybody, ask everybody.
So we're recording here. We got some authors and dealers coming out here in a little bit. So for me, here's my game plan vision. We record, we interact, we get to know some people, and then like over the next like week or so, I'll try to put some of the, obviously the podcast will go out Monday-ish. But get some pictures, maybe get some video, and then next year, run a panel, like 2 panels, officially set up like. Okay, she already said that she'd let us do a panel next year, so put a pin in that real quick. But if we did a second panel, what if the second panel was literally just a podcast episode and just had people come in and
talk about stuff?
Right. Like what we're doing right now, but inside a room with an audience. Could be our first like audience live show.
Oh my God.
Like I don't want to like freak you out because you're going to have to. Okay.
I was nervous about recording in the courtyard. And nobody's here because Ben is scary. So
I'm like the least scary person. I'm the one walking around with the cute daughter. But
you forgot to bring the daughter.
I know. Okay, so if next year we get the thumbs up to do an hour-long panel, what are we paneling on? What is our discussion? What's the description and the title of the panel?
Well, it depends. Do you want it to be like something that we're all interested in, or do you want it to be like about podcasting in general?
Well, here's what I think we do is we do what one you want to do, we do the one I want to do, and we just panel the whole fucking day too. Because that's what Liam and I did for Chronicon is we fanboyed out.
Yeah.
We did all the videos, we podcasted a little bit, and then day 2 we sat in on like 4 panels that day, and it was like it was intense because like 3 of them were back to back to back.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. I wouldn't mind doing 2 panels next year.
I wouldn't mind it.
Okay, so what's your topic?
What's my topic?
How to pull the trigger on 20-year-old work?
Yeah, how to press the delete button on 20-year-old work.
Print. How to press print after 20 years.
I mean, it sounds like I've never printed anything before.
No, but the thing would be like finally doing something, like getting it off the computer, putting it out in the real world for people to read. And that is a great example of the type of people here at TusCon.
Yeah, don't do it again, Ben.
Oh my God.
I said Tucson earlier, and I'm pretending this is Ben's problem.
Fantastic people. We've talked to 3 people today.
Yeah, look,
4 people. Yeah,
more people off.
Yes,
Mike, and not a single bad conversation.
No,
just great combos, amazing people who are interested in like so many things that I'm interested in, and yeah.
I think we're gonna go ahead and cut this one right now. Obviously, I'll cut it all together, but we had a 7:00 panel to go to.
Do we?
Which one is it? I don't have the circled one.
Circle book.
Let's see. We are going to 7:00. Oh nope, 8:00. We're good. We don't have anything until 8:00.
Yeah.
All right, cool. The con suite opened at 7, so technically it is open.
It was a note. Yeah.
But
like children in the courtyard.
Where's Sophie? Did she play? Oh, are they doing yoga?
You know what yoga is, bro?
I have no idea.
Really?
I have no idea.
Dancing.
They're dancing. Sophie likes to dance.
Sophie loves to dance. She makes me dance in public more times than I can possibly count.
How does it make you feel?
Well, honestly, here's the thing. If a toddler asks you to dance with them, you have to. Because I don't want her to grow up thinking that she can't do whatever she wants.
Right.
Like don't murder anybody, but you can dance if you want to.
You can do whatever you want as long as you don't hurt somebody.
Yeah.
Physically, emotionally,
Maybe
or
not like at a funeral. The context matters where you can dance.
I mean, that's all right. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and just cut right now. We will maybe record a little bit tonight. We're going to record a little bit of the wider villains are villains really bad guys panel, and then the burlesque show.
Yes.
So we will record 15 or 20 minutes after we go to both of those. So continue listening. I'm going to cut this up, but we got this one and then one more recording for sure, and a couple of interviews tomorrow. So keep listening, and we will figure it out later. See you in a minute.
Bye.
Hello, welcome back, I guess, to Chasing the Whimsy. This would be the end of day 3, Sunday. We're home.
Is he going to get it right, folks? Here we go. It's the end of what, Ben?
Oh, man, I can't even say it now. It's not TusCon, it's TusCon.
TusCon.
We're going to have problems. I think there's going to be a huge divide next year. We're going to try to convert. We're going to try and change minds and souls.
We're going to come with shirts printed that say TusCon.
We're going to change our logo to a cow. But we are home. It is, I don't know, what time is it? Like 6 o'clock? 6 o'clock.
It's not all that late.
No. But we had a busy day.
Jam-packed for what it was. We had like a half day, but like 10 times as much stuff happened.
Like, we all kind of like slept in. Not necessarily slept in, but we took our time because we had no panels or anything we wanted to do.
There wasn't really anything early morning that we were into.
I just knew that we had to make sure
I would have been awake for those if I had been into them.
Right. All I know is that we had to wait until 1:30 to pick up some art that I had purchased. So
ironically, we're up to like 1:30 or 2 a.m.
Yes.
At night. So
so last they heard, we had talked to a bunch of people in the okay, so as you're listening to this, what you didn't hear 3 minutes ago were all the interviews from people that we talked to on Saturday night.
Okay.
So I took all of those out. What are your feelings about Saturday night's conversation in the courtyard?
Okay, first of all, what a vibe to record out there.
Right.
There's a lot of people curious. I feel like we've recorded out there the previous nights when we've gotten more people because everybody was kind of stopping by and kind of looking at what we were doing.
Intrigued.
Even during our intro, they were kind of like, what are they doing? We had some great conversations. We had some people from the dealer's room. We had a random guest.
I didn't find her name. I don't think we ever asked her name. Here's where I need to get better for next year.
No, we did ask her name because I remember.
I just listened to it. I don't think I did. Well, we did find out she had a blog. That will be on that episode. So we're going to split up. What you're listening to now is going to be Monday. This is our review of TusCon. Wednesday we'll have the Saturday interviews, and then Friday will be the Sunday interviews.
Okay.
So between when you're listening to this, listen Wednesday, and I should hopefully have found her name by then.
And we're going to be very confused referencing all of this because this happened in chronological order for us.
So what can they? We had 3 different interviews.
Correct.
All right. So what could they expect to hear on Wednesday?
Okay, so we talked to 2 authors.
Yep.
One was the author book that I bought on the first day. He really won me over. He was so sweet, and his book sounded so interesting.
David Allen Gordon.
That's right, and it was The Mummy's Vengeance.
Very nice guy.
It's very nice guy. This is a series. All of his stuff is in like a shared universe, which he discusses in his interview, which I thought was super interesting because when I write, I always write in like different universes because I lack consistency. But no, he was so sweet. He was so interesting. He was a teacher, or is a teacher.
Is a teacher.
He writes for a political blog.
Yep.
Yeah, such a nice guy. He was so sweet to Sophie.
Yes.
We saw him throughout the con, and he always remembered who I was even before we interviewed him. He was like, "Oh yeah, let me know when you get to see the book."
The part you didn't hear because you were getting water was he's like, "Oh yeah, she wrote a book." I said, "No, the other one, the twin."
Oh.
And then he's like, "Oh yeah, they're identical twins." I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
So even though it wasn't you, he's like, I know the face.
Yeah, I definitely saw the effect of people looking at me, and I would say, "Hi, how are you?" Da, 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 da. And they'd all look at me like, "Didn't we already have this conversation?" And I'm like, "Oh, Kelly, Sophie must have kind of ran through here beforehand." And they're like, "Oh, and also she changed clothes, I guess."
So that was one author. Who else did we have? Her name was Ori.
Yeah.
Something Ori. 2 letters and an Ori.
It was like RS.
Yes. R something. She was fantastic.
She was amazing and kind of like everything I wish I was.
Like what you could be in oh man, it's put my foot in my mouth because I can't say a couple of years because then I'm saying you're too old, and if I say 20 years, I'm saying she's way too old. So in the near future,
anyone listening to this, she was definitely not a lot older than me. Ben is just some sort of special. He's trying to say that I have a future in writing if I want it, but she was so smart, collected. She sounded so creative, and she had this vision, and she was organized.
I think she said she had the next 6 books already written, like outlined.
Yeah, and we were there with her and
Knowles,
wow.
Dice Guy.
Wow, Dice Guy.
Dice Guy.
Yeah, Goth Geek.
Yes.
See, that I can remember.
Like I left all of the there's so many names, and I'm not good with names to begin with. So I was like, oh man, but yes, Goth Geek. He did a lot of 3D printing and dice. And
he was so sweet, and he was very humble.
Yes.
He was like, you'll hear more about it in the interview. I don't want to spoil too much about it. He's so humble, and he was so sweet towards his wife. Mm-hmm. That's like adorable.
Very adorable. What was also nice about that one is we got into...
And she was like so sweet towards him, and he's like out here doubting himself as an artist, and she's like, "What do you mean? Of course you're an artist." Anyways, you'll hear more about it. I can't say more about them, I feel like, without giving away the interview. But they were both so intelligent, and they had like great interests, and they like D&D obviously, but also like Bridgerton and comic books, and
we did jump into some questions and got into some not philosophy, but like a debate with regards to a couple of topics about pop culture and or comic book movies like oversaturated and separating the artist from the art.
Geek culture becoming mainstream.
Yeah. I just listened to it. Fantastic. Like it is amazing.
Yeah, we couldn't have picked like 2 better people to talk to about all that kind of stuff because like they were right in the middle of everything. They knew everything. Their art and writing, which is also art, I guess, technically, but lovely people.
Very nice. And then there was another lady that you liked.
Okay.
The first lady.
Yes. She kind of just saw us recording our intro, I think.
That look that you were mentioning that people had.
Right.
She actually stepped up.
Yeah, she stepped up. She had stuff to say. She was so interesting. She knew so many things off the top of her head. And as somebody who often gets like, not stage fright, mic fright, I don't know. Where I start like forgetting everything that I know in my entire life, including like people's names. She was ready to go, and she was so knowledgeable.
And, like, I don't know, maybe a little nervous, but fearless.
Fearless, of course, yeah. And I feel like with her, it was like a real human connection because she brought something to me, which is something that I think everybody's into is like learning new things and like exploring the curiosities of the world and knowing that we know about, because you think about it and you're like, okay, yeah, I know what a giraffe is, bro.
Right.
Like I go to the zoo with Sophie and I'm like, yeah, it's a giraffe, cool. But when you know more things about animals and stuff that you wouldn't expect, it kind of makes you wonder about other things that you think you know about.
Mm-hmm. Like the idea, just like listeners, when's the last time you thought more than 3 seconds about a giraffe
or a strawberry?
Right?
Literally,
the origins of a strawberry, or like the essence of what a strawberry is.
Yeah.
Is it really a berry? I don't know. You have to listen to the episode.
Oh, and she blogs.
She does,
which I thought was so like it's like I don't know, kind of like an intrepid like frontier of the whole internet was blogs.
Yeah,
and then we start with all these blogs, right? And everybody has one. Your mom has one. You know, your grandma has
right.
one. And then now we're getting into a whole bunch of podcasts.
Everybody has a podcast,
videos, TikTok, whatever it is. But there are people still out there blogging, and I feel like it's the concentration. It's only the best of the best that stayed and kept doing it.
Right.
And she's one of them.
So, and we'll have hers. I'm going to have in the descriptions for the Wednesday, Friday episode. I'll have everybody's name, website, and their socials. So you guys can all reach out to them. Do us a huge favor. Take a second, look at the description, and subscribe, follow, at least look at their page, maybe leave a little message that says, hey, we heard you at TusCon, and let them know that you guys are, you heard about them.
Right,
so.
And everybody has like everything. So if you are a Facebook person, there are people who have Facebook. If you like TikTok, some of our people had TikToks.
Yes.
Like, that's cool. That's interesting to think that you could have accidentally like swiped up on them and seen their stuff. If it didn't show their face, you would have never have known it was them.
So, all right. After that, we had a panel at 8:00.
Yes, we did.
And it was basically super villains with a point. That are they wrong for their mastermind plan?
Yeah.
Probably the easiest way to say that. It was a very interesting one.
Yeah, it was definitely the liveliest discussion that we heard, and there were a lot more examples than I initially thought. Because my first thought was Magneto, because that's pretty classic in comic books.
Right.
He's like a Holocaust survivor, and then he's seeing this again when it comes to mutants.
Right. So he's like, I want to save all the mutants. So like he's the bad guy, but his mission in a way is like semi like noble. Like it has like you can at least understand it.
Well, and the question is should we, in order to be noble and to avoid seeming like we're doing something morally wrong, which is killing all humans.
Right.
It still sounds bad. Sounds bad. Follow me. Should we allow ourselves, our culture, our people to fade out or die or have something even more terrible happen to them just because we're afraid to do the things we can to allow them to survive and thrive?
Right. And
I made it sound justifiable right there, but it's also not cool to kill people.
Right.
And,
Well, and because it is... I didn't speak up as much as I would like to have, because I was trying to wrap my head around the idea. But it's this idea also that in The Sopranos, House, Breaking Bad, they'd mentioned, like in the early 2000s and to the 10s, like we had all these like anti-heroes in all of our TV shows. So like we started to glorify the bad guy doing bad things for the greater good. Right,
but also the asocial attributes that they have, not realizing that wasn't part of it, really.
Right. And it's interesting because you're like, oh, well, it's obviously wrong to murder people, but you're like, yeah, but these people that we've watched for 6, 7, 8 seasons, they technically did roughly-ish the same thing. Maybe scale-wise, not so much.
Well, yeah, not even like murder, but steal or like, frame people for stuff, Like you don't want to get too much into spoilers on any one show, but they do things that in their own right, you look at them and you're like, oh yeah, well, they kind of had to do that, but did they? Right.
Like I love House. And he does everything he could do wrong, or like he breaks every rule he can think of to save a life.
Right.
And he justifies it every time of like, if I didn't do this, I never would have found the answer. So I guess it's okay that I did it.
But like in real life, somebody's not a brilliant doctor most of the time, and those rules are in place to make sure that nobody dies needlessly and stuff like that. But it does glorify it because it makes it look like slick and cool.
He's one of my favorite characters in TV of the last like 50 years. If I had a top 10, he's in like the top 3.
Literally, I used to watch House on like repeat when I was younger.
Okay, so there was 3 people on this panel. Chaz didn't make it. He was snowed in from Denver.
Yeah.
Which is just funny because that's kind of like an inside joke to like 12 people.
No, everything at Tuscan. Oh, got it. TusCon.
Yes,
gotta get the anyway. But everybody kind of knows each other there.
Yes.
So you're either part of like group I've been here for 20 years or more, or group we just got here last year.
Right.
And now, so we're kind of trying to get in with the
local folk,
and everything like that, because the people who know each other and are in the know seem like the coolest, most knowledgeable, interesting people, and you just want to like break into that group, but how?
Right. But at this panel, there was a discussion. I think, like, for a minute, I thought I found your soulmate.
Oh my god, here we go.
And then he said something, and then I was like, he's gonna get stabbed in the face.
He ended up not getting stabbed in the face. He backed off at that point. I think what Ben's referring to is that he started talking about Lord of the Rings. And then he was talking about like, oh, Tolkien did some things really well, but he did other things really poorly. And, you know, he's a good author, but then sometimes I was like, you know what,
I watch you almost jump out of your chair.
No, I can imagine that some people don't like Tolkien, and he seemed to like Tolkien.
Yes.
He didn't seem to like be like somebody did. He read Lord of the Rings. I don't think he read any of the other associated works. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was pinging around the room, and Ben's watching me like write this essay to everything everybody's saying. Oh yeah, well Sauron actually had no reason for what he did, and I was like,
mental note, I'm gonna blog about this.
I didn't want to take up the whole discussion arguing about little facts about Lord of the Rings. So I was like, well, I'm gonna let it go, but I was thinking about it the entire time.
Overall, I thought it was a pretty interesting panel. Went for an hour. A lot of really cool discussion. A lot of different villains I didn't even think about.
Yeah, I didn't think about a lot of them. There was some like from like the Dresden Files and stuff like that. Yeah. Where I was like, wow, I didn't realize this topic went almost everywhere.
Yeah, right.
Because it kind of just came back down to like redeemable villains, and then there's like the middle guy, my soulmate. He was like very against any sort of villainy.
Right.
Oh, no justification for villainy. Very upset about the Thanos snapping.
Right.
And then, like, kind of ran past the point of it.
Like, for whatever reason, like, a lot of people, like, or there's no middle ground with the Thanos thing. It's like, I kind of see it, or he was absolutely wrong and you should never do it. And it's like, well, I think part of the problem I think I have with stuff like that, with geek talk is everybody's like, well, I would have done it differently. I'm like, yeah, I get you would have if you were Thanos trying to save the universe.
Of course.
But like,
but think about it. First of all, Thanos, I don't really know the whole mythos. Right. I'm not like totally into the comics of it. And I did know the stuff about him being in love with death in the comics, but I haven't really gone into it. But he's probably like old, right?
Yeah.
Like super old.
Yes.
So like he's probably thought about this a lot.
Right.
And I'm not saying that he should have done that, but I'm like, they're acting like he just decided one day he should kill half the universe.
Right.
And then they were talking about, oh, he could just double resources. And I was like, how?
Like, where are you going to put all...
Well, like, double how tall wheat can grow.
Right.
Now, do things that grow under wheat that need sunlight don't get it because they don't not get enough sun? Or how much water does that pull? Where's the extra water going to go?
Right.
And then you can't double the size of the Earth because that'll change its gravitational pull. If it gets any closer or further from the sun, then you're going to be very hot or very cold and you're going to die.
Right, like the ecosystem.
Yeah.
It over millions of years, like everything works in harmony. Like if you take one thing out or you add something new, you throw everything out of whack.
Right. And it's kind of like, not to put it this way, because it makes it a little bit like gross, but think about when there's like too many wolves, right? They put out hunting licenses and they say, hunt as many wolves as you want. They don't say make the deers fuck more. I mean, like, they don't say make more deer. They get rid of the stuff that's killing other stuff. And in Thanos' mind, that's us.
Right.
We're the ones who are killing stuff.
Right. Well, and back to your thing of like, it's way more complicated to double or make things bigger or whatever.
Yeah.
He's just like, nice and easy. Like, because they even told his story that says he watched his entire planet grow and thrive to the point where they ran out of resources or they were overpopulated, and then it self-destructed in on itself. So he's just like, we tried to make things better. We did thrive. We did all these things that everybody else is suggesting, and it still fell apart. So he's like, let's just fucking get rid of half of them, and we'll just start over.
Yeah, not to mention, like, he was pretty fair about it. I think at one point he even said, like, when I snap it, I could stop existing.
Yeah.
It's truly random.
He didn't pick.
Oh, somebody in the panel actually made a great point, though, because what true randomness means is that, like, it could happen that now a whole planet is now completely empty. Or a whole star system is completely empty, but we're still overpopulated on our planet and other planets. Because true randomness means that it's random.
So there's like an Earth 2 somewhere that's just like, we have too many people. And they're like, we still have too many people.
Not that Thanos would probably care about this, because it's, within the margin of half.
Right.
But think about it. You snap, and then the pilot of your plane
crashes, right?
Disappears. And so, but the rest of people are not supposed to be snapped, but you're still gonna die.
Like, I would love to see. Now, what was interesting was I threw out like, people freaked out. I asked, is just like making someone not exist anymore, not murder. I don't see it as murder, but I'm like, is snapping half of the population murder? And they're like, everybody's like, absolutely yes. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna calm down. I'm like,
it would be murder, because if you think about it, you're ending that person's existence. You're not taking them out of existence completely. They already existed. We remember Spider-Man.
Well, what was interesting though is,
but they were talking about like the disintegrating. I'm like, yeah, it probably would have been a lot nicer.
Yes.
For them to instantly disappear instead of being like all gross and turning into dust. Right. And that sounds a pretty terrifying way to die. It
is interesting. I could have sworn somewhere in some of the Phase 4 stuff, there was a mention of people, like a semi-consciousness during the snap. Like if they got snapped out, like they don't remember everything, but they were aware.
Right.
Like that's not murder.
Murder, because it's terrifying. Like, imagine if right now you just started dying. You'd be like terrified, and if they could avoid that by just making it an instantaneous thing, it'd be cool. It was fun. I like anything that kind of spawns a debate or questions, or just getting you to think outside the box a little bit. Right. It was good seeing like other people's point of views, because like a lot of people are thinking about the issue in a completely different way than I even thought of going into it. And I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that. I just kept like thinking, oh, that's interesting. And I think that's more of the sign of a good panel, is you go in there with your own ideas and your own soapbox. Right. And then you sit down and you shut up and learn something.
What did we do after the panel?
Went to Denny's.
We did go to Denny's.
Yeah, we went to Denny's. We got some food and milkshakes. Put the baby to bed, and then we went to the burlesque show. Nerdy burlesque. What were your thoughts of it?
Okay, what were your first impressions? What were you thinking it was gonna look like or be like?
I don't know, because I was like, I know it's in the fountain room, so we've been in there before. And I was like, I don't really know how this is gonna look. We'd seen like the poster for it and everything. They had like made some makeshift curtains so you couldn't see into the fountain room. Right.
which I thought was interesting. And then they asked us for like ID, which is interesting.
Because it was it's definitely advertised as an 18 or over.
I feel like we look 18 or over.
Yeah, but they were like, we really want to make sure you're 18 or over.
Yeah, let's make sure this isn't the best cosplay I've ever seen. Subtle.
Right. It was a lot. It was fun. I liked all of it.
Yeah, every single costume was great. The songs were great. There was great energy from the MC, China.
Mm-hmm, China.
She was great. And
she was funny.
She was funny, and she kept things going, and I don't feel like I could possibly just ad-lib like that.
Right.
And still keep things interesting. And her costumes, her opening number with the red ball gown was fantastic. I was like dazzled by it.
Right.
I was this is such good quality, and I thought maybe just for like a little tiny con, it would just be kind of silly, but everybody's costumes look amazing.
They put in a bunch of time into the routine, into the costume to make sure it matched. And when I was watching it, like for a minute, I was like looking at it from the choreography aspect of it, because choreography is a form of art, and it's interesting to be like, all right, so we're gonna be taking off all of our clothes, and then it's kind of like watching them to be like, all right, how do you dance and then take your shoes off? And I was like, and I'm like, and then they whatever move they do, and they end up on the floor kind of kicking. I'm like, oh, it's so brilliant. I'm like, I loved every part of that.
And so many of them, like Riley's routine, he was first. The first costume, I got it. Yeah. The second one, he was wearing like jeans.
Yeah.
And I was like, how did these become rip-offs? Like, how is he going to rip this off? Or is he just going to take off the jeans? And they were like secretly zipped and stuff like that.
And then it's interesting because it's like in the movies and stuff, it's always just breakaway pants and everybody's just like quick breakaway. But no, like
they took their time.
There's a very subtle like science to like, I need to sexually drag my hand up my leg, and then that's the trick. It's like I'm seeing behind the magician and be like, that's the I'm like, I see the trick.
Well, in the Primrose Path, she came out and it was a very very like almost tame outfit. So the first one was the Star Trek one, I don't think you remember. But she comes in like a kind of like tame outfit, and hers was like the sexiest one. Because she took her time, and she's like in this like tame outfit, and then once she gets to where she's going, you're like, you feel like you've earned it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh, they definitely all teased. They were like, the girls definitely like let me just give you a peek.
Oh, the Poison Ivy outfit.
Okay, so the Poison Ivy outfit was great, but only reason it's maybe better than the Ursula one is because she did the twirling thing. Okay,
so you guys didn't see it, but it's like this cape, and it's like in two pieces, almost like wings.
Yeah.
And there were so many things that she could do to cover and uncover. So she's basically like in the nakedest outfit under that. So she took that off and turned it into wings.
Yeah.
And then now she's covering and uncovering it in all these different configurations, and it was so beautiful and delicate.
Right.
Honestly, like, it was 10 out of 10. I liked it better than the Ursula. I know you liked the Ursula.
I liked the Poison Ivy performance better, but I really I enjoyed the costumery of it.
The costumes were, I don't know if they were handmade. I don't know if they make them. But they're made for this sort of work. But to imagine having something so specific for that kind of work, I feel like they must either got them custom made or made them themselves.
I bet you, because I know the first gentleman, he created most of all of his outfits. But I would assume that you would have to figure out your routine, and then from there.
Oh, and then I was like, okay, so I was talking to Kelly about it, and Oliver Prime, the other male performer.
Woody?
The one who dressed as Woody. I said he seemed like, because he dressed as Woody and he dressed as Star-Lord.
Yes.
And I was like, his performance, like, both was, like, sexy and cool, But it was also like exactly like how if your boyfriend got drunk at a costume party and then he wanted to give you a little show before you guys got to business. And so like it was very like relatable. It looked like it's just cute dancing and a little bit less acrobatics, but more you know? It was the boyfriend experience.
It was fantastic. China sat on me.
Yes. She was so sweet. She like came up into my ear and she was like, "Who is this guy to you?" And I was like, "Oh, he's not my boyfriend." So after that, she ended up giving him like a little bit of like a lap dance. But I thought that was sweet that she checked.
Yes. Oh no, for sure. Everyone very respectful. It is. There's a weird part to it where they're like. The idea of just throwing money at them,
right?
Like, but they like it.
Of
like,
course,
there's a, so it was interesting. And then who was the Thelma? What was her name? Oh, Go.
Yeah,
she was fun.
She was fun.
It was like a lot of busting balls, but with a lot of respect and kind of like I could do it, but you can't.
Right.
Type of thing.
I was surprised she wasn't part of the show at all. Like, she didn't have any number.
Right?
She was so cute. Her outfit was adorable.
She had the little Thelma outfit. Because she would come out and she would clean up. Here's some lingo. Drops, which are the parts of the
clothing.
The outfits. And then the cabbage or all the money on the floor. So she had to come out and pick up all the drops and the cabbage. And
she set up chairs and tarps and stuff like that.
Like, she was like...
It doesn't work without her. Because think about this. Because the performer themselves can't
come out and set it up.
Because then they give away what you're about to see.
Right. But yeah, she was fun. She was adorable.
Oh, they had a game in the interim.
Yes.
There was... The boys were like throwing ping pong balls in a bag. It writes itself.
Right.
And they did well. And then they're like, "Oh yeah, well, let's get some females." And I was like, "Frick!" There's like 3 females in the whole room. So I'm like, "Oh god." Well,
China picks one.
Right.
Because they seemed buddy or have hung out the weekend.
Very giggly and stuff too.
And then there was a very long, probably the longest 15 or 20 seconds in which she was looking for one more person, and I could feel you being like, "Don't call me, don't call me."
The way I would have made you leave the room.
Because what was the girl task?
The guys get to throw things in a bag, I guess, and just that's like a toddler game. The girls were out there shaking their asses.
Right. So had you been picked, what were the strict rules?
Ben leaves, or he faces the back. That's it.
And Ben never talks about it again.
Right. And like, there's not gonna be videos or anything. I'm out, but yeah, I'll do it. It was a fun time.
They did not have it last year.
No, they did not.
We did talk to one of the programmer. So not necessarily politics, but there was the contracts and the way that they were brought into for that event.
Right.
Their thing. It sounds like they're working on. They'd like to bring him back, but they got to kind of rework some of the negotiate their contracts and everything. So I think it was a huge success.
No, it was a lot of fun. It's a great way to end Saturday night.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that last year the latest night stuff they had was like
there was a one midnight showing.
It was like 9 or 10, and then it was like a horror movie showing.
Right.
And this was like a fun thing that everybody could just go and have.
They had stuff going every hour, like all the way through 10 or 11 o'clock, which was great.
Yeah, this year I feel like the panels and stuff are way more consistent. I know they had more room this time because there were less panel rooms in the last hotel.
So there were the 4 rooms, and then the hotel rooms. They had different suites. They had 4 more. There was like 8 total rooms.
Right.
That you could panel and.
And then there were things going out by the fountains and in the breezeway.
Right.
So there was a lot of stuff going on no matter what time you were out there or when you were out there. And I think we got out like 1:30 a.m.
Right.
And and some room was having like nightcaps.
Yes.
And that was from last year as well.
They did that
last year. It was like not marked.
Right.
But it was right next to my room.
Mm-hmm.
So I kept walking right by it and
Right.
being like, yeah, I'm socially awkward. I can't go in there. But
Right. Knock on the door. Ben, come out here real quick.
Ben, come on, let's go.
All right. So Saturday was a huge success. We got interviews. We saw a bunch of things.
Of
we did a bunch of panels. Sophie had a great time. Kelly is the hero of the weekend because she made sure we got to where we needed to at the time we wanted to be there, and then she made sure that
We ate
Sophie was
food
right.
and was literally following Sophie around for miles in circles around this
Right.
whole hotel on little adventures.
Right.
Sophie can take you on a tour anytime.
Right.
If you want to see the roof and the ice machine.
Right. So huge shout out to Kelly. All right. Today, Sunday, we relax, we pack, checkout is at 11. We put all our things back in the car. We have 11 to 1:30 because I have to get something at 1:30. What are we doing for the 2.5 hours?
Okay, so I jumped in there, got the earrings that I've been looking at, and Ben's thinking right now that it's the earrings I'm wearing. It was actually a complete separate pair of earrings, and then I found out this one like really well matched my dress,
Yes.
and I was like, have to buy them as well. But I was talking to the shop lady, Carrie, and see, look, I got one.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about just everything. She is so sweet. I remember from last year, I bought like 3 necklaces. Right. She's dangerous to be around. I keep spending money. But she is so sweet, and she was talking about her mom, and we're talking about just literally everything. And honestly, that's like why I like this con, because if you remember our town Comic-Con,
Right.
I don't know what the code word we used for it was. It was like mules in a line.
Yeah.
Like to each table, because everybody wants to see everything, but you're just kind of like walking in a line. Some people will try to talk to you, but then you're like holding up the line. And so the creators, they kind of just sit back and wait for you to like want to buy something.
Right.
Here at TusCon, we like talked to pretty much every single person there. And they were all beautiful and wonderful. They were really nice. They had like a great time talking to them about like not just their work, but other stuff as well. And it felt like a little like in-home experience where you just get to chill out and talk and shop.
Well, I think we mentioned it with Wendy. There's a Wendy interview you guys will hear on Friday, where she appreciates the bigger cons. Like she likes, like we're all fans of things, and she loves to be able to fanboy out.
Right.
But she's like, but this con, this is home. This is where we get to reconnect with family that we've built over the last couple of years.
Let me say, the people at TusCon, they are the most unique and cool and authentic people that I've met. All of them have something interesting to say. Everybody is like way more outgoing than me, which is great because I'm like shy. But I've ended up in like random conversation with so many people, and they were all just great. Like they share your same interests, but they're also kind of like they're deep, and like there's an age range that you don't see at bigger Comic-Cons. So like there's older people there, and there's like maybe a little bit younger than us, but not too young. Right,
like your 20-somethings.
It's interesting to geek out with somebody who is like mature, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like not to say anything against younger people, because I like hanging out with them too.
Right.
But they've been in the game since like Pong, and now like even like older people, they're playing like Fallout or Starfield or.
Their fandom has never stopped, and they still go. And we would never think of them as a Fallout player, but they do.
Right. And then you think about other, no offense, but older people, and they stop getting interested in new things. these people are always curious, and I love
there's
that.
a curiosity, definitely.
Yeah, and they're optimistic about the future as well.
They love the idea that we podcast, and they're like, they're like, you thought about it, I'd like to do it, and I'm like, the interesting thing is, you guys are talking to everybody all day.
Yeah.
Like, just put a microphone in front of you, and it's super interesting. And they were all very supportive of like us recording, and hearing our stuff. And it's funny because like we always ask them about their comics or their book and where it come from. But at the same time, they're like, "Well, what are you guys up to?"
Yeah, they want to know back. What's our story?
Right.
How did we end up doing this?
Right.
How did we come to this convention? Because it's pretty niche, and it's like 2 hours away from where we live, maybe 3 hours away from where you live.
Right.
And so they want to know the story of other people, and it's interested in hearing of people who are interested both ways.
Right. Well, because we're not in a position typically for people to ask us anything.
Right.
So for it to be like,
yeah, Robert Kurtzman doesn't care what we do for fun.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. So we talked to the first gentleman and his lady. They did comics, and she does all of the storyboarding and stuff for it. Then there was another couple, Luis and Joel. They were fantastic. They were all about like us podcasting. They're like, we want to know more.
Dude, pros.
Yeah.
Pros at getting interviewed.
Yeah. They were fun.
And their stuff looked so cool. Like, just listening to their ideas made me want to know more about it. And I think that that's, like, the goal of anybody who does art. Right. Is you just hear, like, a little crumb and you want the whole pie.
What I like about those two also is their team of authors, pencils, inks, like storyboarding and everything else, formatting it. Like, they have a very small team, but they're all over the place. There's a couple people in, like, Ukraine and then, like, Mexico or wherever else, and they have so many people. They just find somebody who's good at what they do, and they just bring them into their circle.
With the internet, like, you don't need to meet somebody in person to do business with them. Right. And you want to be, like, not the, like, old person who's like, wow, with the World Wide Web. But really, can you imagine doing business with somebody from another country?
They're fantastic. I like them a lot. I'm definitely going to reach out to them because they'd mentioned, I think those two would be fantastic to do a podcast together.
Oh, of course.
I definitely think Whimsy Studios wants to help them get something going. Because I would love to hear their process or whatever story they're coming up with, and just whatever brainstorming sessions that they have.
Honestly,
give me 15 or 20 minutes of that.
Creative and imaginative people. Like, to imagine that, like, she said she's been drawing since, like, forever. Right. And can you imagine just doing something forever and never running out of ideas? Right. I mean, I'm sure she does at some point, but, like, that's crazy. Like all that creativity.
It's fantastic. And then we had my favorite lady, the chainmail lady. Yeah. She is so much fun. It's interesting because a lot of people were nervous to record. Right. But you couldn't hear it. And it's one of those things where I think that, like, here's where, like, we've cracked the code, is you get people talking about things that they're passionate about, and then they forget that they're being recorded.
Yeah, they just go ... and then you barely even need to, like, talk yourself. Right. Because Wendy was talking about, oh yeah, sorry, you're not even asking a question. We're go on, please. Please, we love hearing about people's stories, and, like, the less you hear from us, honestly, the better at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. Chainmail lady was fantastic. I did get something from her.
Her name is Callie, I think.
Yes.
Because we had a Carrie and a Callie.
Callie, and she's with Twist and Turns, which is adorable because she makes chainmail, so you have to twist and turn. I'm like, oh, she's genius. She's so much fun. Then your lady. Carrie. You weren't there, but I did get a couple minutes with her.
Yeah, we were waiting.
I know.
Her booth is so busy. And I literally told her before we were recording, and I was buying my jewelry, I was like, oh yeah, I told her I'm having trouble figuring out what I'm going to buy because I love it all. And I told my sister, like, please come help me figure it out. And she goes, oh, I wanted to show you a booth as well, and it's got these box, and they're so beautifully painted, and they're intricate, and they're amazing. And I'm like, I think we're talking about the same shop. Two of us obsessed with the same thing.
Right. So I did talk to her. Got to know her a little bit more. You will have to listen Friday.
I will have to listen Friday because I wasn't there.
I know, but she did. There may or may not be a little message to you.
No way.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes. She absolutely loves you.
Oh, that's so
sweet.
I love her. She is like I know it sounds terrible for me to be like obsessing over it because it's just like an interaction between a shopkeeper.
Right.
But literally every time I've talked to her, I feel like at home, and she's so nice. And anyways, I won't keep obsessing, but.
And then from there, we did talk to Wendy, which was this is her first year chairing the con.
Right.
So she's been active within the con for
took over from
years.
Sue Thing.
Yeah.
Who was at the con. Sue Thing was at the con up in the con suite.
Yep.
But yeah, this is her first year, and what a great year. I mean, honestly.
I like not saying last year was bad, but you could definitely see Wendy's flair and whatever. It's not all her. She has a team, but what she was able to chair and put on this weekend was fantastic. So like huge kudos to her and her team and all the
everybody
vendors.
who works all year.
Yeah.
They work all year on this.
Yes.
And so it came to like everything they worked on came to fruition.
Right.
It was a great con, and we had a great time, and I felt like I didn't want to leave at the end,
Right.
but we did.
I'm glad that we were able to experience last year versus this year, and then just if every year they can just do this much more, like we're just like next year's gonna be a blast.
I can't wait to see what the panels are about and stuff like that. I can't imagine what goes into planning that.
Right.
Because think about having to come up with a podcast episode every week, and then now you're having to do like all these in different genres and stuff like that.
I did. It sounds weird in the interview, and you call me out for it, but I did ask Wendy if there's a chance that Chasing the Whimsy would be there next year.
She said, "Of course we can be there."
Right.
I mean, I don't think that was what the question was about. Was us being there?
Right. But there has been some discussion. We did meet the programmer guy who was in that that panel we went to.
Great dude. He's so smart and
they were like. And what was funny was, I hey, good panel yesterday. He's like, which one? We're like super villains with good ideas, and he's like, yeah, and I'm like, we're just podcasting, and he's like, Ben. I'm like, yes,
you're Ben. I remember you.
So yeah, they're aware of me a little bit, and then, I think with the reception this weekend from everybody, I did not, to be honest, I didn't expect to get 4.5, 5 hours worth of.
And we could have gotten more. If we
absolutely.
If we were out there more, people would have come.
Right.
Just the sight of the microphone on the table made everybody kind of like, hey, wait, what's going on here?
Oh, and then next year, whatever capacity, if we're going to be associated with them, like officially or not, the beauty of it is we showed that we can just pop up anywhere and just record. And
people will be interested.
Yeah.
And we can get somebody to come in.
So regardless, we're going to do it again next year. It would be nice to have a panel room of some sort to kind of help, keep people filtering in so they can sit. Technically, it could be one of our first live shows where people are watching. Well, yeah, because we did the open house, and I don't want to freak you out. It's going to be a whole year from now. It's one thing to sit and interview with somebody, but then, are you nervous at all now that I just brought it up that you have 20 people just watching you?
Okay, so actually, I was kind of nervous, even just podcasting in the courtyard.
Right.
But somehow, as soon as the intro music started playing and I started talking, it just felt like we were sitting here in my kitchen again, or in your living room, and just podcasting because it's like muscle memory now.
Right. It goes back to episode 6, man. The secret of the podcasting as a superpower. The second you hear that music and you see the red light, you're like, Game on. Let's do this.
Yeah, this microphone adds legitimacy.
Yes.
And people think that you're like, well, we are a real podcast. Yeah. I mean,
yeah, like we're coming up on 100 episodes. Like,
yeah, and I've been on like 9 of them.
Absolutely great con. The people are fantastic. I cannot say enough about just the organization itself, and then its guests. Top notch. Like I don't think you can ask for a better group of like fans and just people, and we mentioned it with Wendy. Like it's a community. It's
when you get there, if you go there, it's a total vibe.
Right.
Like everybody who is there is the interesting person. Mm-hmm. Like if you look to your left, you look to your right, this person is going to be somebody you want to talk to. They're interesting. They're interested in stuff that you like. If you like fantasy, obviously, science fiction, horror, or else why are you there? Right. But I don't know. It's so personable too.
Right.
I didn't feel like that at our town Comic-Con as much.
There's so many people and everybody's running around.
And everybody's with their friends and stuff. Here it felt like people wanted you to mix.
Yes.
People want you to mix and talk and like reach out to people.
Which is weird because like part of the idea behind the podcast is for us to share our experience with it. Let people know that TusCon is fantastic. Come down.
Right.
I mean, I don't think it's ever going to reach our town, con levels.
Right.
But
and it shouldn't. Right. We like the cozy con.
Right. But at the same time, even if it doubled in size, everybody would be accepting of everybody and welcome everybody. Like,
right.
Oh, it'd be so much fun.
It was a really good time, and I didn't expect it. I was like, I loved it last year, and I was like weirded out that it was going to be at a different hotel. They made a like mention of it changing hands a little bit, and I was like worried about, is it going to be different this year? And it was, but for the better.
Right. That is it. Listen Wednesday, Friday for the interview episodes. Just huge shout out to Wendy, her team, all the vendors, all the artists.
Anyone who talked to us.
Anyone who talked to us.
You're awesome.
Right. And also shout out to the hotel, the DoubleTree Suites by Hilton, Tucson Airport.
Great hotel.
It is a fantastic hotel. All the staff was fantastic and great.
Even the overnight staff was great.
Right.
And we know how sometimes those can be a little dicey.
But they made sure everything was clean. Housekeeping was on top of everything. The front desk was on top of everything. The restaurant was fantastic. The lady at the restaurant for lunch.
It was very sweet. Yeah. She took care of us.
Like, we would come back obviously next year, but the fact like that the hotel is top notch also is great because they're going to make it like I don't have to feel like I have to worry about.
Ben's got a hotel background, so that's why I'm really into it.
Well, but there's when we got done with Chronicon, it was it's just the idea of like there's so many people behind the scenes, right? And I want to make sure that like everybody gets their like their second real quick to saying like front desk staff, housekeeping, you made the weekend, like you have a part in it.
Yeah, there was a chance for it to be fumbled there, and you didn't.
It's like there's a weird quote back in the day. Kennedy went to NASA and was talking to the janitor mopping the floor, and he asks him, "What do you do?" And the janitor looks at him and says, "I put a man on the moon." And it's one of those things where it was a successful weekend at TusCon and housekeeping, front desks. Everybody who had a part in this weekend and making sure that we were all comfortable and safe and having a good time, kudos and thanks to you guys.
Right. Literally 10 out of 10 for all of you.
That's all I got for you. Do you want to go ahead and end it?
Whimsy.